Welcome back. Did you hear there are a few states taking some votes tomorrow that could be somewhat important in determining who the Republican nominee is going to be for president? That's right. Here are all the states participating in Super Tuesday or the SEC primary, whatever you want to call it. What can we expect from tomorrow? We want to ask our very own Newsmax Washington chief political columnist and White House correspondent John Gizzi. John, always a pleasure to speak with you. So we're looking at a big win for Trump with the exception of Texas tomorrow. Give us the kind of how are Marco Rubio and Ted Cruz going to sell Super Tuesday? Give us a preview.
Well, I think any kind of strong showing by either in states other than Senator Cruz's home state of Texas is going to be called a victory by the Rubio and Cruz camps, as well as Camp Kasich. Clearly, Donald Trump is in fighting trim tomorrow. I just spoke to Bill O'Sullivan, Tea Party leader in Houston. He's expecting a very big Cruz win in Texas. Polls show the race a little bit tighter. Virginia, which is notorious for having its polls be off in the last races for governor and U.S. senator, anyone can win there. So again, I'm not going to call anything, but I will say that whenever there is a victory or even a strong showing by Cruz, Rubio, or Kasich, it's life support for the next big fight in Michigan, March 8th.
That is going to be a big one. So we look ahead to Michigan. John Kasich, we talked to Matt Towery earlier about his ability to overperform the expectations tomorrow. Could he really be, if not, obviously not the victor in a lot of these states, the guy who emerges from this is someone who looks a lot different than he does today?
Well, I think he looks a lot different in the sense that, to his credit, Governor Kasich has not attacked any of his opponents. He does look almost above the fray or removed from it. Now, this does not get him called on a lot in those televised debates, but he is widely praised for it at his town meetings, one of which I attended in Virginia just a week ago today, and he still is a factor in the race.
Why don't we have this Marco Rubio? Why don't we have this Marco Rubio John Kasich ticket or alliance that we've heard so much about? Why has that not happened yet?
Well, I think there's a lot of voters out there who don't want to think that the race is wired, stacked, rigged, and packed. They just do not want a race in which it seems as though the establishment is really pulling the strings and undermining them. An alliance between Senator Rubio and Governor Kasich would just give them ammunition, and it would lead to a major walkout from the party or a strong resurgence of support for Donald Trump.
Some other rumblings we're hearing from the so-called establishment. John Cornyn telling CNN today he's worried about the down ballot effect of a Donald Trump nomination. The Supreme Court implications are here. Also saw a very effective ad from Ann Kirkpatrick, who's running against John McCain in Arizona, talking about that same thing. The down ballot implications, when you hear people start to talk about that, do you think that has any chance to sway voters' minds?
I don't think the Supreme Court issue does, because it's very simple. The Constitution does not require the Senate to hold hearings or take a vote. And quite honestly, there have been polls that show that...
But when they start talking about the prospect of losing the U.S. Senate back to the Democrats, do you think that'll impact voters' minds? With about 30 seconds left, John.
No, I don't see that at all, because certainly the numbers are there for the Democrats to take control. But these issues in particular are not going to be pivotal in determining races in the end. And by the way, I don't think John McCain can be beaten at all in Arizona, no matter what Ann Kirkpatrick does. He's part of the landscape. Yeah,
one might say. John Gizzi, thanks so much for being with us. Donald Trump may either have the longest coattails in history if he's a nominee, or the shortest. We just don't know. It's too hard to tell at this point. Thanks, John. And just a reminder, you want to stay tuned to Newsmax TV for our special live coverage of Super Tuesday tomorrow night. We'll have the most up-to-the-minute results coming in starting at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. We look forward to you. And thanks for tuning in to Newsmax Prime.